The opinions expressed in the video you are about to see are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTest.com, and today we're going to review the design and features of the Beneteau Flyer GT34. The design team at Beneteau tell me that they designed the GT34 to provide sport boat handling with an enclosed sport coupe layout. Let's see how they've done with the layout as we begin our tour up at the bow, where we have a rail height of 30 inches or 76.2 centimeters. A hatch conceals the standard Lewmar windlass. The compartment to the side is open to allow access to the anchor rod. Notice how water is directed overboard rather than into the compartment. The bow sun pad is optional, and there's a cutout that can be removed to allow natural light into the lower deck. It's hard not to be impressed with the massive single-piece windshield, and there are twin pantograph windshield wipers with integrated washers. I found the side decks to be quite easy to access, mostly thanks to the clever molded handhold along the side of the hardtop. Steps lead into the cockpit from both sides. The door to the cockpit opens inward, which means that if you fall against it, you don't fall out. High marks to Beneteau for creating this clever emergency bilge pump with the handle storing conveniently in the cockpit door. The cockpit has C-shaped seating to port, with a wood table that opens up to allow for dining all the way across to the lounger to starboard. In the closed position, the leaf support doubles as a handrail. The lounger is quite comfortable, offering a full view of the stern, and underneath is dedicated space for a life raft. A hatch under the table is accessed by releasing the two latches and pushing on the table to open. This allows access to the engine compartment, but I'd like to see the engine access improved, especially for daily engine checks. Forward into port is an entertainment center. At the top is a standard sink, and there's an option for an electric grill just to the left. Below is a space that I found to be large enough for a carry-on cooler, and to the left of that was an optional 42-liter refrigerator. The helm was nicely laid out with both analog gauges and Volvo Penta's EVC displays. An angled panel lies below the upper gauges for holding stuff. Rocker switches are to the left, absent a blower switch on our test boat. An optional Simrad nav display was in the center and interconnected with the VHF AIS. The controls fell naturally to my hand, and I really appreciated the optional bow thruster when I was backing into a slip against a 2-knot cross current. The height of the controls really lend themselves nicely to facing aft. Engine shutoffs and fire extinguisher discharges are just behind. The double wide helm seat has a flip-up bolster, and a convenient footrest is below. Visibility was best for me from the seated position. Standing requires the large sunroof to be opened, and then I was looking at the overhead frame. Ventilation was outstanding with 2 opening side windows. The companionway was surrounded by smoked glass that did a nice job of adding light to the lower deck. A hatch to port opened to the head to supplement its hull side port light. The hatch has a privacy curtain as well. As we step down below, immediately to port is a wet head. It features the overhead hatch with privacy screen that we just saw and an opening port light. The sink is a basin type on top of the counter, which adds to the storage underneath. A pull-up sprayer allows showering, and there's ample storage all around. Forward is a settee with a high-low table that naturally converts to a berth. The 2 hull side windows lie ahead of the opening berths. LED reading lights are fully forward on wood trim accents. Above is the overhead hatch that can be exposed in the sun pad. The decking is marine-grade wood laminate, and you can opt for either an oak or mahogany finish. The table is beautifully finished and has a subtle raised edge. Storage cabinets are to both sides, and a privacy curtain close the entire area off. The galley has storage cabinets above that are large enough to accommodate full-size dinner plates. There's storage for your smaller items beneath the opening port light. A single basin stainless steel sink and 2-burner stove are recessed into the counter, and I noticed raised edges to the counter as well. Below is another storage compartment and the refrigerator. A privacy door just aft allows seclusion to the aft stateroom. It would be nice to have a magnetic latch to keep the door open. I found the berth to be surprisingly large and roomy, even allowing me to sit up with 3 feet 5 inches or just over 1 meter of overhead space above the berth. There are bookshelves and a hanging locker for storage. Opening port lights add light and ventilation. In my opinion, Beneteau has created a very functional and roomy sport coupe design with the Flyer GT34, and I found her to be roomy and spacious for her size. That's our full features walkthrough of the Beneteau Flyer GT34. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.